once again.
Hey everybody, thank you for waiting. Welcome back to the Horror Hideaway. The doors are now open again. Tonight we're going to be doing episode number 3, Extra Black Christmas. We're going to be answering horror and slashers' infamous phone call from the 1974 film Black Christmas. We will be also doing compare and contrast the 1974 film and then the 2019 film done by Blumhouse. Very, very different films if you're not familiar. They are both good in their own way. We'll tackle that a little bit later in the episode. But we were away for a little bit, and Nick is going to come on that one a little bit more. Tell him, Nick.
Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry we were away for so long, but life happened, the holidays, and our real jobs kind of got in the way. But we're back, and we promise to be releasing a lot more episodes coming up. And we're going to definitely kick it off today with Black Christmas.
Yep. So, like I said, those of you who are not familiar with the two films, these are some of the films that kind of inspired, well, at least 1974, inspired kind of slasher horror a little bit. If those of you who are familiar with our first episode with John Carpenter and Halloween, this was one of the films that actually inspired him to create Michael Myers and the Halloween verse that we all know and love today. So if you're kind of nostalgic and you really, really want to get an idea of, you know, behind the curtain, the madness that kind of went into Halloween and maybe some other things like Scream, for instance, probably take a closer look at this one. I promise you it does not disappoint. It's been remade now twice, Nick, I think?
Yes, it's been remade twice. Once in 2006, and the last was 2019.
19. Yeah, that's what we're going to cover today. It's a little different. It's also part of our hot take. There's some moments in the 2019 Blumhouse where we kind of go, is this really a Christmas movie? You know, kind of like the old Die Hard thing where you're trying to answer. I mean, it's a little difficult.
It takes place during Christmas, for sure. That's about.
There's snow on the ground. There is some stuff hanged up that you could definitely say it makes it Christmassy. But I mean, those of you who like to argue Die Hard's not a Christmas movie, you're probably going to want to argue this one too a little bit, other than the name. But like I said, we're going to get into that one a little bit later. Our hot take today is literally going to be more on, does the 2019 film deserve the name Black Christmas? And we will both be discussing that in length. And you guys tell us in the comments. Please also like and subscribe to our podcast if you agree, disagree, or maybe feel there's something else that we should have brought up too. Also tonight, we have what's our favorite part of the episode, at least gets us going, gets me going, definitely gets you going, right?
Yeah.
We have Spirits of the Night.
When darkness pours and the veil thins, it's time to raise a glass with the forgotten.
Share a drink, if you dare.
So, today's cocktail is called Silent Night, Deadly Night. It is inspired by the 1974 film, and we are going to be answering the call with this drink. We'll hold it up here, kind of shit. Also got some new glasses, so for those of you who haven't noticed. So, cheers. Let's get a little bit of a sip. It's very delicious. So, I'll be popping in here the ingredients for this cocktail. This one features, obviously, there's a lot of dark richness to this and kind of goes with the story, you know, kind of dark and cold, stormy night. But this features a little bit of blackberry vodka. It also has notes of cherry liqueur. Blackberries themselves, you have to muddle them, so you have to get a little bit fancy there, I would say. If you're feeling a little bit more, you want it smokier, Nick Turtle does not dine on that. I'm a little with that too. You can smoke a little bit of rosemary in this to give it a little bit more of a barbecue-y kind of flavor if you want. I don't really care for that personally. Other things you'll find also in it, vanilla vodka also does make an appearance in it, and cranberry juice to fill. So shake it up in some ice, pour out, and enjoy. So cheers to episode number 3. I know I'm going to enjoy it. So Nick, I'm going to turn it over to you here at this point. What are your thoughts on the 1974 Black Christmas film? You talk about it a lot, in our spare time.
So I originally saw it in my early 20s. I had already watched all the Halloweens up to that point. I was a huge Halloween fan. And I had read how John Carpenter was partially inspired by Black Christmas. And so I wanted to watch it. And this was back in the Blockbuster days, so I couldn't stream it. And it was not at my local Blockbuster. I had to actually drive 40 minutes to get this movie, and I did.
Did you return it late?
Probably, I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if I returned it. I may owe Blockbuster. I probably bankrupt Blockbuster. I don't know.
Sorry, Blockbuster. Blame Nick Turtle for your troubles.
Anyways, so after I watched it, I saw a lot of similarities. Besides, it being holidays, I noticed that while the killer in Black Christmas didn't wear a mask, he was hidden. You never really see his face. He was kind of mysterious and in the shadows. How he quietly stalked the girls without them really knowing. All these little similarities to Halloween, I saw where he got his inspiration from.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about it, I kind of call him the Cyclops killer for a joke, because you only get to see like one eye throughout it. And one of the crazier things that got me on this one, I saw this when I was like 13 years old. My dad rented this movie and had seen it prior. I'm pretty sure of it. He rented it, I'm pretty sure, from Blockbuster or maybe Hollywood Video. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Probably Blockbuster. But he threw it on. We were watching it in the living room. And I distinctly remember one of the opening scenes. It's in the dorm, or the common area of that dorm that's for the sorority girls. And you hear this guy on the phone, sounds like a maniac, and he's like moaning and groaning, and I'll be honest, it's not safe for work moment.
Hey, quiet! It's him again! The Mona!
Sounded like he was kind of getting off to it, to be honest with you. So I remember having a lot of questions at that point, because I was kind of prepubescent, puberty ball, J severe at that point. And I remember my dad even turning to me and kind of going, yeah, you'll find out a lot more about that as you get older. And that's kind of the end of that part of the story. But overall, I mean, you watch the film, it's very dark, very bleak. Takes place in a very, very cold setting, kind of like what we're experiencing right now with the winter storm, burn, all that stuff. And you just have these girls and a house mother huddled up in a house around Christmas time, and all of a sudden people start disappearing. No one really questions it. I think that was one of the things that bugged me. They know one girl went missing. I guess no one cared about the attic.
Right.
The only person I think that went up there was the house mother, right? With the exception of the end of the story.
Yeah, that's one of the plot holes in that movie, is no one thought to check out the attic, not even the cops.
Yeah.
When they came and checked out the house, they ignored the attic. They had just gone in the attic, the whole movie would have been over in
Right.
10 minutes. But
The call's coming from inside the house. Yeah. We all distinctly remember that part, especially if you've seen the movie. And it kind of cracks you up, because those of you who've watched Nightmare on Elm Street, John Saxon is in this movie. This is probably the movie that typecasted him as the cop.
A high school girl's been murdered. Mr. Harrison's daughter is missing.
In a lot of movies. Because he kind of acts the exact same way in this movie as you see him in Nightmare on Elm Street.
What's the coroner got to say? He's in the jar and puking since he saw it.
He thinks everybody's Looney Tunes. He dismisses a lot of stuff. In Black Christmas, he's a little more open to it, with the guy being weird and stuff like that. But overall, he just kind of thinks someone's crank calling them throughout it. And one thing that it's still astounding to watch to this day is when they try to trace the call in the movie.
yeah,
The work that they have to do to trace a call in the 70s. I feel so sorry for Operator
there was an
Richards.
actual person back there trying to find where the call was coming
Yeah, everybody's seen the database field, right? You know, because things like AI and all that stuff exists, all the database farms, right? So back then in the 70s, you have like this, I don't know what to call it, a warehouse, maybe multiple warehouses. It could have been an airplane hangar for all we knew. Just switches and things and mechanical machines going up and down, moving things up and down. I don't know all the details on how that worked back then. But one guy is literally back there trying to figure out, and I guess in a town of what, maybe 300 people, where this call is coming from.
Well, it's a college town, so I'm sure there's more than 300 people there.
You never know. But it was one of those types of things where you go, wow, I really, really, really feel sorry for people that had to go through that back then. And all that for him to probably come back to where he started.
The caller is in the house.
The last place thought to look. So, I mean, those are things that just kind of stick with you. I mean, what do you think about the kills in that movie?
They definitely defined the slasher era because I think it's the first time you really saw gruesome kills like that. That didn't come from like an actual monster.
Not Texas Chainsaw? I think that happened around the same time.
Texas Chainsaw came out around the same time. So those two movies really are the ones that started off this whole genre.
Yeah. Kind of taboo, right? I mean,
like a serial killer that's not an actual monster.
Yeah. I mean, you got to consider, too, around that time in the 70s, there were, like, real-life things kind of going on. Like, wasn't Ed Gein kind of happened around that time? Right. Ed Gein, the real Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of happened around that time. You just had a lot of... They had that axe murder thing kind of going on in New Orleans that happened, I think, a decade before.
Well, the serial killer... the real-life serial killers really started in, like, the 70s, where they started naming them. So that's when these horror movies like Black Christmas and Halloween came around. It kind of took these serial killers, but in a more extreme way.
Yeah.
Because in real life, you know, the serial killers, they have limits because they're human. While the serial killers in horror movies, they tend to have supernatural strength and never die, no matter what.
Yeah, they always come back. It's when you think they're dead. I mean, at one point, I kind of made jokes, I think you probably did too, where we're going to be right now in our 40s, we're going to be up to Jason 45 at some point. Luckily, that didn't happen. I think it would have gotten a little ridiculous. I think it ended with Jason in space at some point before we got to
bring him back.
Yeah, we could do Jason's Galaxy or something.
I mean, the last Halloween had Michael Myers in his 60s still killing people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. They even had that Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie where he was kind of like retired and fell off for like, what was it, 40 years or something like that?
Yeah.
And then it kind of did something like Halloween. If you don't know, it's on Netflix.
Try anything and you're canceled, bro.
Oh, fuck. Actually, I think still right now, it's like a renewed Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They even had the sole survivor make an appearance in it, and she's apparently still traumatized, which makes sense. But we'll tackle that one at another time. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I am totally getting off track here. We will definitely cover Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a completely other episode. There was something specific about the 74 one that you wanted to talk about that is a little taboo, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think this is what inspired the 2019 one. They have one little social justice issue in the 1974 one, and that is abortion. The final girl, Jess, she gets pregnant from her boyfriend, Peter. Peter, when she tells Peter he wants to marry her.
I'm quitting the conservatory and we're getting married.
You can't ask me to drop everything I've been working for and give up all my ambitions because your plans have changed. Be realistic. I can't marry you.
You know, he doesn't want her to get rid of it, but she wants to finish school and have a career first before she thinks about marriage. So she thinks having an abortion is the best thing for them at this time.
I'm pregnant.
Jess, that's fantastic.
I don't want it.
You don't want it?
And since he does not agree, he comes to the sorority house and he starts a fight with her, which everyone hears, which makes which makes him look like the suspect. Everyone thinks he must be the one. When it all comes out at the end that the girls are actually being murdered, they're not just missing. So, leading now into the 2019 one, it's like they took this one little taboo social justice issue and they just ran away with it in the 2019 one. One of our hot takes is it should not have been called Black Christmas, and I'm going to go into that now. I think if this had been called something else and had, if they still did the movie the way they did it, but called it something else and it was a completely different movie, I think it would have gotten a lot better reaction because perception, because people would have gone into it knowing what they're getting.
Yep.
Except it had probably a bunch of Black Christmas fans wanting to see this reboot or remake. And they were sorely disappointed because it was nothing like the original.
Yep.
It wasn't even like the 2006 one, which was also poorly received.
Yeah.
So basically in the 2019 one, they're sorority girls in the sorority house again, which is similar. Except they're getting killed one by one by multiple men. And they all seem to be these men from this fraternity house. And it turns out that the lead girl, final girl in that movie, had been raped her freshman year by a senior who now comes back to his fraternity. And she sees them doing some kind of weird ritual in the fraternity house. And
spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert if you want to see it. Sorry. And it's turning all these freshmen pledges for the fraternity into killers.
Fraternities retro. Imagine a world where you're no longer sitting in the corner.
And they're going after all the sorority girls for talking out against the rape, about sexual assault, and all this stuff, which it's a great subject. It's definitely something that needs to be talked about more. But again, if you're going in thinking you're getting 1974 Black Christmas, you are going to be disappointed because this is nothing like it. It's a completely different movie.
Yeah.
I usually like Blumhouse movies, but yeah, this one fell short for me. And I think it's the name.
Yeah.
I think if it was called something else, I would have liked it a little more just because I would have went into it with a different headspace. Like, oh, this is going to be about social justice.
Black Magic Christmas. There you go. And one word, one word. I think maybe it solves it. I don't know. I don't know what went into the thoughts there. I mean, I get it. If you really think about it, the 1974 film, it has a guy on a phone harassing these girls. Then he ends up in the house, sneaks in, starts murdering everybody, bag over the head for one girl. Another girl gets, stabbed with a glass unicorn. It's a mess, and...
Yeah, and one of my thoughts is that maybe they did it so differently because the original is so iconic for so many reasons. It started the call comes from inside the house, which there's a lot of babysitter tropes with that. Like I said before, it inspired the slashers like Halloween with Michael Myers, all that stuff. But if they were trying to go a different way to make this some kind of iconic movie, they fell short because, again, it was not like Black Christmas, and they kind of tricked their viewers in a way by calling it Black Christmas.
I mean, if you watch the trailer for the new Black Christmas, I remember seeing it a couple years ago. It was in 2019. Yeah. And you go into it thinking like, oh, maybe they finally found something here to kind of recreate that nostalgia and that whole moment of just existential dread from somebody inside the house that you don't even know until the last minute. You just know someone's calling, people are disappearing, and they figured it out. In this day and age with iPhones and Android and text messaging, no one calls anyone anymore.
No.
So it's almost lost, trying to remake that whole atmosphere again.
Yeah, there's a call coming inside the house because everyone has cell phone.
Everyone has a cell phone. I mean, you can trace the call
it's a
now
really
in
hard movie to
probably
make.
a couple of minutes. It's very hard.
I did like the female empowerment, I will say, in the movie.
Yeah.
You messed with the wrong sisters.
I liked how they all came together to
Stop the bad guys.
stop the guys
Yeah.
that were raping girls left and right, you know?
Yeah, and took this black magic goo that came out of a freaking statue head. I don't know. There's not enough money in the world if I'm in a fraternity.
And I like the
to make
little
me do
song
that.
where they were dressed like the mean girls.
Oh, yeah.
With their little Christmas
Didn't
song.
they do they did the Mean Girls, the Jingle Bell Rock song? Yeah.
But then they changed the
About the rape. Yeah.
they changed the lyrics and
Yeah.
to call out the rape.
What was true? Don't say that this was my fault, 'cause what you did is called assault. Ho, 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 I didn't know. Ho, 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 I didn't know. Yes, up in the frat house, click, click, click. You slipped me a roofie and then you're dead.
It's a very funny moment, to be honest with you. I was even shocked when I heard it. Yeah, they call out the main guy that got away with it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So the 2019 Blumhouse Black Christmas, my take on it is I enjoyed it to an extent. It has nothing to do with the women empowerment. Go women, your body, your choice, all that stuff. Totally for it. The problem for me with it is it's very much like Nick Turtle is saying. I went in thinking I'm going to be watching a slasher movie. He's picking off girls and doing some horrendous things inside the house. I didn't expect it to be a social justice, women empowerment movie. I have no problem with that. Definitely tell you right now I don't. But I really think it would have been better served being named something else. Like I keep making a joke, Black Magic Christmas, because of the magic goo that the guys have to drink or whatever. But I guess that's the taboo subject nowadays, at least, right before COVID, definitely was a big thing with the Me Too movement. But my whole thing with it is it totally loses the whole feel for Black Christmas. Like it gets away from the holidays, it gets away from a lot of that stuff. And a movie like that should definitely be made today. Don't get me wrong. Just don't call it that. That's the best way I can explain it.
The original had one psychotic serial killer. He was definitely a psychopath with maybe schizophrenia. And you can tell that from his calls when he was yelling and
split personality.
Yeah, like he was going into like his mom.
Bitch, pig.
No, really, no.
Yelling at Billy, which that's why we all assume his name is Billy.
We don't know. Never find out.
Yeah, they never actually say his name, but everyone assumes his name is Billy in that movie. Which, that also brings me to my other little hot take I had, remember, where I was wondering if they called Billy Loomis that because they got Billy from 1974's Black Christmas and Loomis from the Halloween movies.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would be very interesting if you think about it. And a lot of people would never put it together. Like I said, my last Halloween hot take, Loomis, I know you're out there. You were definitely a culprit in the making of Michael Myers. Maybe that's why we did name Billy Loomis his name and Scream. But just, so we don't get off the rails too much here. Black Christmas, Blumhouse, 2019. Pretty good film. It definitely got mixed reviews because it's a little bit of a bait and switch on the viewer. You go in, trailer thinking, getting the slasher movie.
Helena hasn't gotten home yet.
Around Christmas time, psycho killer has a vendetta against these girls. Maybe it's something new. We'll see. Not just some random guy walking in and picking on girls and offing them one by one. But no, we got weird fraternity guys who have some serious, I don't know, maybe libido issues and small, what energy kind of going on. I don't want to spoil it, but and they drink this magic stuff to empower them over women, which I find ridiculous, but whatever. I rolled with it, watched the whole thing. And, the final scene is pretty cool. You kind of get this battle between both sexes, if you will, and one thing that's pretty interesting, the head guy of the fraternity is Carrie Ells. Those of you who are very familiar from Robin Hood Men in Tights, Saw, Crush, He's a pretty well-known guy. I thought this was one of those movies maybe he should have said no to when he read the script, but, you got to pay the bills, right? He definitely gives off a creeper factor in the movie. I think you kind of remember.
Well, he was the head guy.
Yeah, he was the head guy.
He was the guy that was getting the goo for the fraternity, basically.
Yeah, he started it all.
Yeah.
But before I think we uncovered that it was the whole fraternity doing it. He was like our prime suspect.
Yeah.
What's going on? What did you do to Landon?
He is who he was always meant to be, a fighter.
Still, we're going with the idea it was like one person before they have big reveal. Yeah, he was definitely the prime stuff, and he still is the main guy.
He is, yeah.
About it, it's just we didn't know we had a bunch of minions doing dirty work for him.
Lots of minions. Too many minions, probably. It's just weird. One point I thought it was the new guy, the guy that just kind of comes up out of nowhere and he's like in love with the final girl.
Yeah, no, I thought
He's a little odd.
it was a red herring from the beginning. There's always a red herring.
Yeah, these movies have a red herring, but he's a little odd. I couldn't quite cross him off the suspect.
They have to make him a little suspect, just so you think it's him. But no, I thought he was a red herring.
Yeah. We all thought it was either one of the main fraternity guys or the guy that they sang the rape song about.
I thought it was either the senior who came back that raped the girl or the professor.
He was my red herring. I was like, it's too obvious. He's got a vendetta. He's definitely that guy that you're never ever going to say no to. But watch him become the hero at the end for some stupid reason to redeem himself, but dies, or whatever, because he's a rapist. You can't let him get away that easily. But no, we got the whole fraternity pack of guys who are just amped up and ready to take on all the sororities and murder everybody. And it was a wild ride, it really was. But I get the social justice thing. I don't think there will be a sequel to this movie. There probably shouldn't be. I think they kind of left it in a good spot. We won't detail the ending for you.
Didn't do well enough for a sequel.
Whatever. You never know. Sometimes things don't do well enough, and for some reason, some studio pours money back into it. A24, don't do it.
If anything, they'll just reboot Black Christmas again and do a whole different thing.
Yeah, we'll get it like 2049 or something. We'll be senior citizens and we'll be like, they're calling from the phones again, dear. I don't know what we're gonna do. Yeah, that kind of thing. Has anyone ever used this before? No. But yeah,
Black Christmas in a nursing home because they seem to still use.
Well, yeah.
They use landlines in nursing homes because they're old.
Yeah, they don't want to touch these. As my grandmother, but these far-fangled digital devices of doom or whatever she calls it. It's pretty funny. So unplug the Wi-Fi, Grandma. We'll be good. But yeah, no, not to get too far off track. But yeah, that's definitely our hot take. It's a great film, Black Christmas. The original one, and it definitely leaves you wanting more. Do you just remember the ending, right, of Black Christmas?
Right.
It's still haunting if you watch it.
So at the end, we don't get any resolution. They don't.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, we also spoiled the 2019 one. I think if you've been watching the first two, you already know we deep dive into these videos, so you're gonna get spoiled. We should probably put a disclaimer to watch the movies first.
I probably will. That's not hard to do.
But anyways. Yeah, they don't find Billy.
No.
He's just gone. So, and they never made a sequel, so we don't know what happened to Billy.
Well, I don't think they realized Billy was the guy because the guy's name is Phil, the boyfriend.
Oh, that's right. So
Phil comes back, and he's another one. He's off his rocker when you watch the film. He's not quite all there. I remember he's a cellist, I think. Or piano. Pianist. Okay, yeah. Cellist, I don't know. Maybe I watched Wednesday a little too much. But, yeah, there's a part where he's doing his recital, and he, loses it. And smashes the piano after, because obviously he didn't get into his choice school, I guess. But you can definitely see...
He smashes it because he's mad about the abortion. And that she wants to break up with him.
Wasn't it the culmination of things, though? He's mad about, obviously, that. And then, he was totally unfocused during his recital.
Yeah, but he was unfocused because of all the stuff.
Right, but it all kind of comes together. It's the abortion's coming up. Yeah, no, I kind of thought, no, it's there. Yeah, no, we're good. But my whole thing was, he totally loses control. You see him lose control right there. And he calls, and I remember at one point, John Saxon, the cop, he's already got him as his number one suspect in this film. And not for, any wrong reasons.
One that they can even think that they don't know anything about a Billy or a psycho.
Well, no, they can't ID somebody from a phone.
He was their only prime suspect.
Yeah, he was. And, there's another boyfriend in it that's for the first girl, Claire, who gets murdered and disappears, which starts the whole film. But he's kind of a normal guy. Maybe he's got a little aggressive issues himself, but what college guy doesn't sometimes. But he's definitely trying to help out find what the heck happened to his girlfriend. This guy, Phil, kind of really doesn't want to be part of the pack, doesn't talk to anybody, doesn't really seem to interact with anybody but Jess. And there's just, there's some weirdness about him. Like, he's definitely got some mental instability.
He has a lot of anger issues because he's upset with Jess. So every time we see him and there's a crowd around, he's not acting very sane. So at the end, when Jess discovers her sorority sisters murdered in their rooms and she tries to run away, Billy breaks out of the attic, kind of chases her, but she doesn't really see him, and she runs into the basement.
Yeah.
And at that point, when she's in the basement, her boyfriend, Peter,
not Phil, Jesus. Phil's a girl.
Were you saying Phil?
I was saying Phil.
I would have expected you.
Oh, you missed a chance.
I wasn't.
Phil, all right. So the reason I'm saying Phil has nothing to do with Modern Family for all my other comedy nerds out there. Phil is one of the other girls. There's Phil, there's Barb, there's Jess, and there's Claire. And then the house mother, who I don't remember, she just has a drinking problem from what I remember.
So Peter,
yeah.
Yeah, Peter is looking for Jess, and I guess he doesn't see her in the house, so he sneaks around to the basement to go down the basement, and she's terrified, and at that point she thinks Peter's the crazy person in her house. So when he comes down, spoiler alert again, she murders him.
Yeah.
So when the cops come at the very end, they just all think, case is
closed.
Right. You killed Peter, great, everything's good. Meanwhile, Billy's still in the attic.
Yeah.
So what happens after that? If he goes after Jess again, if he leaves the attic and finds another sorority, nobody knows.
Jess in the house? She recovers in the house. After everything happens, Jess gets medical attention. They eventually bring her back to the house. She's traumatized. She's not really talking.
The house is safe at this point.
Right. And he ends up creeping back in, and the film just sort of leaves you with this unresolved issue. And isn't there a phone ringing in the background?
Yeah, so you got to kind of make your own conclusion.
Yeah.
Does he start all over again? Does Jess survive? Really?
We don't know. And there's lots of theories out there, too, about it.
Did they ever find Billy?
Yeah. Billy, we don't know to this day.
I'm guessing, 1974, they just didn't do sequels like they do today.
No, they didn't.
Never a sequel.
Well, if you really think about it, we covered it in the first episode. John Carpenter never intended the Michael Myers thing to be beyond that first movie. That was very much a thing back then. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they did really one movie. I think it took them...
It was the 80s when they came out with
the second, yeah. They really waited until they
the 90s when they did the third one.
Yeah, The Next Generation. I remember that. Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. It was very weird.
Yeah, I think when they first started the genre of slasher films, they just intended it to be one movie and that's it.
I don't think they expect them to be as popular as they are today. Wait.
Yeah, well, and with movie studios, when something's popular, of course it's going to get a sequel nowadays.
Pour money into it.
But back then it wasn't like that, so we never get a conclusion with Black Christmas.
Nothing.
It's one where you get to come up with your own ending.
Yeah, it's a very cold ending, and I think it should be if you think about the time and the genre. So it's pretty wild. It really is. Yeah. So I mean, I think we've covered both pretty extensively at this point. One thing that I will say is very, very intriguing about this story and how it ties into Reality Bites.
Sink your teeth in as we reveal the real events and unsettling truths that inspired tonight's tale. Because in the end, reality bites harder.
So, obviously, films like this, they're very sensationalized. They're very fiction, as Nick pointed out very eloquently earlier. There is a serial killer.
In the early 90s, ABC News sent me to Gainesville, Florida to cover the story of the Gainesville student murders, one of the most horrifying stories.
I've only been in Florida 12-ish years, something like that at this point.
I moved down here in 1990.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was a serial killer in Gainesville called the Gainesville Ripper, Danny Rollins, who went to a sorority, killed 5 sorority girls in very elaborate ways. He was caught, and I think in the early 2000s he was fine. He was
2006,
yeah. 2006.
Lethal injection.
Yeah, he was executed.
Yep.
But while this came after Black Christmas, obviously,
way after.
You have to think and wonder if someone like that got their idea from a movie like that to go attack sorority houses. Another person who also attacked sorority was Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
He escaped from court, got away after he had been caught for murdering all those women already, and he went to Florida and also killed girls. Why is it always Florida? Will you track the cases down here?
We'll be asking about that forever. All the jokes about Florida Man will probably come out now in the comments, and I don't blame everybody. So
yeah. So, if they were inspired by movies like Black Christmas or not, I don't know, but it is very much the same as the movie. So I'm going to go with yes, they were inspired.
There's some major parallels with what Danny Rollins did with his killings. Specifically with Black Christmas, there are scenes where people are staged. If you remember in the movies, he puts the one girl in the rocking chair. He kind of dolls up another one. Rollins did a lot of crazy shit. He mutilated bodies. He staged them.
There's something that the officer noticed right away that was very unusual. She was posed, all her clothes were off. She was lying back on the bed with her feet on the floor, and her hair was fanned out, almost like a display, a shocking value.
This was very much someone who's very disturbed and could very well have a parallel with Billy, the antagonist in Black Christmas 1974. So apparently he killed 5 people in Florida. The total death toll, from what I read on the story, the guy's from Shreveport, Louisiana originally. Apparently he started killing down there, and they say around 8 people is where he is. They don't know still to this day if there were more, because he wasn't very cooperative with the authorities at the end. But, if you're going to die, what does it matter? But, But they connected a couple of other murders to him that happened in his hometown and surrounding areas, which is pretty sad. But a lot of the killings were not only staging, but he also broke into people's houses, stole things. Billy had this kind of panache going on too. And then he, for one of the girls, I don't remember the girl's name, he actually waited around for that girl to show up. He also murdered, I think, 1 or 2 of them in their sleep, which happens to Barb in the movie too. Barb gets murdered in her sleep with the glass, I think it's a unicorn, some sort of animal.
Yeah, or
yeah.
little knickknack.
Yeah, little knickknacks are all made out of glass. So it was a big thing back then. But, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of insane when you watch Black Christmas 74, you read the story about the Gainesville Ripper and just go, man, you have to wonder, in some aspect, did this guy watch this movie maybe in the 70s and get a crazy idea in his head? They interviewed him, I know, obviously extensively about everything and the why you did it, so to speak. He never really ever obviously admitted that inspired him, obviously. He did mention, obviously, Ted Bundy inspired him a little bit, which is not surprising. And he wanted to beat, I guess, his score, so to speak, which is just disturbing to hear about. But, yeah, I mean, like when they say reality bites, this is probably as close to home as you get in this with Ted Bundy and Rollins, the Gainesville Ripper. So, pretty crazy.
For all these real-life psychos out there, we wouldn't have the slasher genre.
No, we really wouldn't. It's insane, but, you really got to think, at the end of the day, there are a lot of sick and twisted people out there. I mean, I love watching the films and everything like that. Some of the crime documentaries are also very interesting. But yeah, a lot of these movies have a lot of real life bite to them. Like somebody.
And there was a movie inspired by the Gainesville Ripper. Do you remember which one that was?
I do not.
Scream.
Oh, Scream.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney.
Interesting. How so?
I know that's not a sorority, but I did read in the book that I got you for Christmas.
It's a good book.
Scream was, because I thought Black Christmas would be in there, and they were.
Yeah.
But it also said Scream was highly influenced by the Gainesville Ripper as well. And it must be just by going after young women the way. And then also, like, Stu's house isn't a fraternity, but it's a house where everybody's kind of together.
Yeah, it's high school, so it's a little different, but it's still, there is a togetherness of the friends from the Scream movies. We'll definitely get into Scream this year, because Scream 7 is coming out next month. So probably one of our upcoming episodes, I'm thinking the February episode, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we probably will get into the Scream anthology. I mean, we'll be covering 1 through 6, potentially 7, because I know we're going to watch it.
I don't know if we should do 7 right away, because we do want you to watch the movies before we spoil them for you. And since 7 is so new, I think we might pause.
I think what we do is we give them our thumbs up or thumbs down on it.
Yeah.
Like, was it worth the watch?
A little thing at the end.
Yeah, little thing at the end, a little bit of a taste, because if we do release it in February, I think it comes out at the very end of February 13th. Is it a Friday the 13th movie?
Friday, it is a Friday this year.
Yeah, I know Friday the 13th, but it's Scream I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Scream comes out, if it comes out the day before Valentine's Day, that's
Friday the 13th, yeah. Okay, so I think it is. Sad I don't know that off the top of my head, but it's been a long day. But obviously, yes, that will probably be our next episode. We will tackle the Scream movies. We've talked about it enough, I think, between all 3 episodes now. It almost makes too much sense to just get it out there, give our hot take, all the different things that are kind of tied to it, have some fun with it, and get into all the lore and all the weird stuff that kind of happened with it, is associated with it. It is a huge franchise to tackle, but we're up for the challenge. Other than that, I think at this point, we've definitely have covered both the Black Christmases. This will probably conclude Extra Black Christmas, but for those of you who have been waiting for this next episode, I definitely, Nick and I, appreciate your patience with us.
We did rewatch Black Christmas right before Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's been over a month since we rewatched it, so sorry if our memory's a little
bad.
We're trying to remember everything, because before last month, it was probably a few years since I've seen.
I think we thought about watching it again like yesterday, just to kind of snap back into it.
But we figured we
could wing it. Why not?
And the 2019, that was the first time I saw it, was a month ago. So.
Yeah. We almost did the 06 one with Michelle Trachtenberg. Rest in peace, Michelle. But I think it would have been a little too much. And honestly, I watched it once. I don't need to watch it again.
And that one was close to the original, where we don't really have a lot of feedback, because it's close to the original, but it's not the original, so it's not as good.
It's okay if you want to kind of watch that one, compare it to the original. It's closer to the original than obviously the 2019 Blumhouse make is.
They just go really into the eye in the 2006 one.
Yeah, too many close-ups of that. Yeah, I get it. It's iconic, but do something else. Do like the mouth or the nose. I don't know. I'm joking at ad-libbing here, but yeah, it's not something we're really going to tackle this episode. I don't think we ever really will, but if you guys want us to, we can. That's where the whole like and subscribe comes in. Drop a line in the comments.
You'll have to wait till next Christmas.
Yeah, we might tackle that one with something else. Who knows? We'll do the B-rated Christmas reel maybe for next year. But yeah, those of you who've been patient with us, like I said, it will pay off. I know we committed to doing this. We do enjoy doing it. For those of you who have been following all the different socials on the media, they're down here below. Please like and subscribe. Those of you who are enjoying all the minisodes that have been going on and taking off, please, keep liking and commenting on those and sharing them and all that stuff. I love it. I love the feedback on them, good or bad. They are very fun to make. They can be a little difficult at times with work and everything else, but I promise there will be more. I enjoy the horror genre. Nick enjoys the horror genre. She gives me lots of ideas on different things to do too from time to time, or if I show her an edit. No, don't do that again. Yeah, definitely does.
But we're also interested in your comments, and anything that you want us to do, let us know. And we'll definitely try to make you guys happy with these upcoming episodes coming up.
Yeah. For sure. So next episode, for sure, Scream Anthology. That will be the next one here in February coming up. Probably would be after Friday the 13th, more than likely. Give this one a little bit of time to resonate on the socials and everything else. Between that time, like and subscribe, share, comment, talk us up, all that stuff. If you're into audio podcasts only, we do have the RSS feeds going through Spotify, the Apple Podcast stuff, some other ones that are out there. Please,
wherever you like your podcast.
Yeah, you like seeing our goofy faces, specifically mine, please watch us. If you prefer listening and you drive, home, listen to us on your way home and get a laugh, or maybe I need to watch these or whatever. That's what we want to do. But my fellow Hideaways, at this point, we will conclude our episode of Extra Black Christmas. We thank you for tuning in. Stay scary, stay creepy.
Till next time.
Take care, everybody. Bye.